This broadcast, telecast, podcast, and whatever the hell else is copyrighted by the Rad Network and the Rob and Steve Sports Show, found at theradnetwork.com, and is for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, account, or description to this madness without the express permission of the Rad Network and Williams Broadcasting and Rob's Weekday lawyers is prohibited. Just don't do it. It's the Rob and Steve Sports Show, a show all about the thrill of Rob's victories.
Fly ball, center field, Coco, ball game, Western Division. The Oakland A's have shocked the Rangers and the baseball world, and they are the AL Western Division Championship. Unbelievable.
And sometimes even the thrill of Steve's victories.
From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series. 5-1 the final tonight. And the best team in baseball wins it all.
And the agony of these defeats.
Like together as Busted landing these. Oh, nice uppercut by Busted Douglas. Look at this. He knocks Mike Tyson down for the first time. Career. Mike Tyson hits the canvas. He's in big trouble. He may not be able to recover. It's up to 7 and 8. He's not gonna make it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Buster Douglas is the new heavyweight champion of the world.
Email the show at ras@theradnetwork.com. And now the Rad Network presents the Rob and Steve Sports Show.
Relatively speaking, recent history, it's a barren wasteland for sports tonight. You got no NBA playoff game. You got no Stanley Cup game, as good a one as we had last night. You got some baseball. If you have Apple TV, I guess there's one game on ESPN. You'll have local coverage. But we've been so blessed and so spoiled. And we were blessed and spoiled yesterday. I got more than a few texts from friends who enjoyed Steve's off-the-rails rant directed at the Boston Red Sox, his team, in baseball. And in an interview after our show yesterday, Boston Red Sox president Sam Kennedy agreed with Steve. I don't know what he's getting so exasperated about. The president called the team's play this season embarrassing and unacceptable. The Red Sox have been mired in a season-long slump. They fired Alex Cora as manager. That's done little to jolt the team. They're 27-39, last place in the AL East. 5.5 games out of the wild card spot with only like a billion teams they got to climb over. Kennedy said there's no way to sugarcoat it. It's been awful, especially when you consider the stated goal of building upon what happened last season when Boston made the playoffs. It's been incredibly frustrating. And I, as president of the Red Sox, just want to acknowledge that right at the outset, it's on all of us. We have to get better. But, he continued, there's no consideration of removing Craig Breslow from his role as chief baseball officer, which really did seem, Steve, to be the target of your rant yesterday. Breslow has been the target of criticism from the Red Sox fan base. Several of his trades and signings have not panned out. Roman Anthony, Garrett Crochet. But Kennedy said that Breslow is working as hard as anybody in terms of getting things back on track. He only suggested that the roster might change, acknowledging that if the team's play doesn't improve, quote, over the next couple weeks, the Red Sox will turn into sellers ahead of the August 3rd trade deadline. So the president's with you, Steve, the president of the Red Sox, except your little thing of wanting Craig Breslow fired.
Yes, Craig Breslow. And the problem I have with him is he has really turned the team to the sole decision maker is analytics. It's not an eye test. It's not listen to your scouts. It's not the look, Tom Brady, we should take a shot at him because even though he's not the prototypical quarterback and the big, strong arm that we like, I see something there, and the guy really knows how to play football. In this case, it is with players with really know how to play baseball. It is 100% analytics and nothing else. Breslow played in the league like 10, 13 years. I mean, it's not like he wasn't a major league player, just like Buster Posey. He played many, many seasons. he knows there's more to just numbers on paper, but he is a Yale graduate. That's his specialty. And he has embraced the analytics to just such an extent that every decision they make is on these analytics. Like, here, we need to go get Mastriani as a second baseman because we want a platoon there because he can hit lefties. And not viewing chemistry, not viewing players' abilities. There are gamers and there are chokers. Those never show up in analytics either. And it's just his total disregard for what baseball has done is the part that just has me so irritated. And it really started with the Raffy Devers. And everyone knows I'm not a big fan of Devers. I felt he was a really good, streaky hitter. Wasn't a consistent day in, day out you could count on. But when he got hot, he'd carry you for a few weeks, but then he'd go into these 3-4 week slumps that he didn't do a whole lot. He was terrible defensively. But you sign him to this monster contract. How do you not communicate with him before you bring on Alex Bregman? You say, look, this is what we're trying to do. We all want to win here. You know, you are the face of the franchise. We've given you your big contract. But with that big money, we kind of need you. You're already getting paid. It's not like we're taking anything away. But with that, we may need to shift you across the infield because we're hurting at first base. We have Tristan Cassis, but he's really continues to get hurt. He may not be there. We need to bring a person in and DH. You might play a little bit at third base, but Alex Bregman is one of the top third basemen in the league, defensively, offensively. We need more offense. How do you not have that conversation? It didn't happen. They didn't say anything. They just pretty much made the move and still never explained it. That's where Devers' problem was, is the franchise was never upfront with him on what their plan was. So if you're going to burn the Raffy Devers down to the point where you have to trade him, the whole reason you burnt that relationship down was to bring in Alex Bregman. Why aren't you signing Alex Bregman to a longer term contract than 1 year? And it was really a 2 year with an opt out after the first year. But if you're going to burn that down, why aren't you going to Bregman saying, look, we need a 4-year deal here because I'm really upsetting one of the players? None of that happened because it was all analytics, at which point they traded Devers. Oh, okay, look, we got Kyle Harrison out of it. Hey, I can live with that. Maybe there's another prospect or something else there that can help the team. And we got rid of the money. The fact that they got a prospect in Kyle Harrison, who I did like with the Giants. I liked him with the Red Sox. You got something for him. You move the money. You're not paying the money. This is a win-win. But then they bring in Kyle Harrison. They send him to AAA right out of the gate type of thing. And it's like you just bury him there and you don't really give him the opportunity. It hits the offseason. You trade him for, I know, a third baseman because we never locked up Bregman and we traded away Devers. We burnt that bridge down, but we can't go into the season without a third baseman. So let's go give up Kyle Harrison. He's not doing anything for us. Again, bad management decisions. He's not a flamethrower. He's not going to light up the strikeout Ks, but he knows how to pitch. And we're watching it. The Brewers have taken him and said, look, do what you do. Continue with that. And we're going to help you a little bit with various analytics, but just be the pitcher you are and you're going to have success. Red Sox couldn't do that because he didn't hit the analytical pages. So we're going to trade him away for a third baseman. Yeah, Durbin was good. He was in the talk last year as a Rookie of the Year candidate, but he doesn't hit for much power. He's okay defensively. He's nothing to write home about. And it's all these decisions like this that you just shake your head and go, what's going on here? Cora liked the analytics because it gave him some insight into things, but he still believed in managing by what you see on the field, the feel of the locker room, the players, and what's going on. Everything I've read, Craig Breslow does not talk to anyone in that locker room, doesn't go in the locker room. Where he is a player for 10 to 13 years, he knows how important the locker room is. He has alienated himself by removing him from all of that. So if you're not even going to communicate with any players, him and Cora didn't even really talk, from what I understand, for quite a while. So if you're not talking to players, you're not talking to the manager, all you do is sit up in your office and run analytics and get stats, and then that's how you make every decision. You have to go. And that's where I'm at, because that's all he does now.
I've never heard of somebody describing their specialty or being described as their specialty as he's a Yale graduate. But is it your position, Steve, the Red Sox that will never excel with Craig Breslow as chief baseball officer? And are you already there with Buster Posey and the San Francisco Giants?
I think I'm there with both. I think Posey now has done enough. And I don't know how he's relating to the players in the locker room. I haven't seen any stories on that. Maybe he is going in and he's talking to the players and he's getting a good feel. He's keeping the communications lines open. And then I'd give him a little bit more room off of that. For me, the Buster Posey that broke the camel's back was when I hear Vitello saying with Eldridge that, well, the lineup card was already made out in advance. We had them a couple of days in advance. I'm sorry, no manager in baseball should ever be making up lineup cards in advance. It's that I'm going on vacation type. And so here I'm going to do a 2-week vacation so that it's done and I don't have to worry about it. And baseball's different, but is it that, oh, look, I already saw the 3-game matchup. So on Thursday for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this is already what it was. Well, I have this player taking, Sunday off, but the hitter's 8 for 9 with 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and you're going to bench him because, well, on Thursday night, I thought this was a good matchup. But those are the things that analytics do. They don't pass the eye test. And I'll tell you, roll back to 2018. What was the Red Sox advantage against the Dodgers? The Dodgers had all the platoons out there, and it was my big complaint with the Dodgers in that it was a very analytical team. And I think they've changed that a little bit because I think they're finally giving Dave Roberts, along with a lot of money, a little bit more on the eye test. But what did the Dodgers do? They have their platoons, and the Red Sox, well, they have 3 left-handed starters, something like that. And all the big power bats on the Dodgers with Corey Bellinger and Muncy, they were all left-handed. So the Dodgers, instead of saying, look, we're playing our best players, they went, well, this is what we did all season. This is what the analytics say. And they sat there, and I think they had 3 guys on their bench who hit more than 20 home runs for the season. And as a Red Sox fan, I'm like, keep it up. This is great. We just got to start a left-handed pitcher. We put all the good bats on the Dodgers lineup on the bench, and it gives us the advantage. Red Sox won that World Series. And I said, thank you, analytics, because these are the things that they do because they don't. And I can't say neither one of them understand the game. They know it way better than I do. They played it, but it can't be the sole determining thing, because why would I sit there and, oh no, Shohei Ohtani's facing a lefty who dominates lefties. So, and he's a left-handed batter. So I'm going to put him on my bench. And because, well, I got this guy who can hit lefties a lot better. So I'm going to play Rob Refsnyder and let Ohtani sit. No one in their right mind would make that decision. And yes, Refsnyder hits lefties really well, but if I'm going down with my best. And sitting Ohtani because I want Rob Refsnyder because he hits lefties or a certain pitcher a little bit better than Ohtani isn't going down with your best. And that's the big problem I have with analytics.
It is nice to see what has become, on a national level, a growing backlash to being a slave to analytics. They all say basically the same thing. It has its place, but we went too far. And by they, I mean prominent voices in baseball, whether they're studio analysts, whether it's John Smoltz, who's very outspoken about it, that we've gone just too far, and we rely on it just too much. And you bring up the eye test and stuff, and I don't know if every industry has some form of this. I know in radio, which is what I did for most of my life, we had what were called consultants. These were people who exceeded at some level in running radio stations, programming radio stations, telling you what music to play, knowing what your air talent should sound like, and all these oh so extraordinarily brilliant radio companies would bring in these consultants. And if you were a program director or what was called an operations manager, like I was, traditionally you were supposed to just do what the consultant said. And I never did. And I always told my general manager, if I get fired, I want to get fired for doing what I do, not what some jerk tells me to do. And it served me well, but it's kind of like what you're describing. There's a lot of managers who either won't say that, they kind of look at it a little bit sometimes wrongly, we know from history, like it's their version of ABS. Well, it's not going to be my fault, it's the GM's fault. Sorry, pal, you get fired. You get fired for doing what analytics told you to do. So it's nice to see the analytics thing going away. You worked in a mention of Shohei, which is a great way to segue into whenever you and I discuss across all four major sports, whether it's predictions or where we are right now or where we're headed, we always say hashtag asterisk injuries. Injuries change everything. Anyone gets hurt, everyone major. We can't tell you for sure the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl because what do? If Stafford goes down, as of right now, they don't really have a backup. Going to throw Ty Simpson in, I guess. So there's always those things, the intangibles that we can't control. Shohei Ohtani left the Dodgers game last night against the Pirates mid-game. Left knee inflammation was the reason. Suddenly pinch hit for in the seventh despite going 2 for 2 with a home run and 2 walks before he was before he was pulled rather. Manager Dave Roberts last night said the same thing he just said this morning, that they are not at a high level of concern. As of last night, they said he should very well return to the lineup today. All he said today, again, is he's downplaying the injury. I haven't seen any official word that Shohei Willer won't play today. He has a 305 batting average, 74 hits, 13 homers in 67 games. He's pitching even better with that 1.06 ERA. 6-2 record in 67 and 2/3 innings. The only concern, Steve, that I have is we've seen this endlessly in baseball this year. Oh, it's no big deal. We're downplaying it. We're downplaying. Oh, 60 days. Now, I hope there really is no big deal, obviously, with Ohtani. Baseball's better with him. It just, we have seen this 0 to 60 thing with injuries all this season, especially with pitchers. Nothing. Oh, yeah, he's out. He's out for months.
Yeah, they added to it yesterday with Garrett Crochet. How long's he going to be out now? Now there's no timetable at all. Originally, we were like, he's going to miss a few starts and he will be back. And I'm still wondering about Edwin Diaz. He had the loose bones in his elbow, just like we saw with Tariq Skubal. Well, Tariq Skubal's coming back tomorrow, making a start, and he went down like 3 weeks after Diaz. And Diaz is still on track for after the All-Star break, from what I understand. So he's still more than a month away. It gets frustrating as a fan, the lack of transparency. But I think it bugs me more than the typical fan, because I keep hearing all the time, because of the business that I'm in sports books, the integrity, and I know what all goes on behind the scenes, and that integrity that they preach, that they live by, doesn't exist.
The Dodgers go into tonight they are 19 games over 500. They lead all of the majors with a plus 143 run differential. We always look on Fridays at the series is on paper to watch, see what happens over the weekend. How about a battle of first place teams, as in the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago White Sox? Yes, the Chicago White Sox are in first place by half a game. They are 5 games over 500. They've won 2 in a row because they didn't get to play last night. Did they not play last night?
No, they got postponed. That game's
Right,
going to be made up August 20th, I believe.
20th. Yeah. And so we don't have a change in our 9-game stretch that we were looking at. The White Sox embarked on a homestand where they're hosting Atlanta. We didn't get the full outcome. They won the first 2 we didn't get last night. Tonight, they begin hosting the Dodgers for 3, and then they go to New York and they play the Yankees. We said out of those 9, 4, 5 wins, that would be a win. Well, they've got 2 of them already. We didn't get the third one tonight. The Dodgers will throw Sasaki against Burke. Tomorrow, Yamamoto against, as of right now, undecided for the White Sox. And on Sunday, they throw Sheehan against Eric Fetty. So this is it, Steve. We've been saying the White Sox went out and beat maybe the team right now better than the Dodgers, if not the one we're all watching, the Braves. And they won 2 games. Yeah, they're 1-1 games, but you're playing one of the best in baseball. Now they're playing the best in baseball on paper, hosting the Dodgers. What a weekend for the White Sox. I don't know how much it matters for the Dodgers, especially if Shohei's okay. I mean, they're only up by what, 8 games over the Padres. They don't want to be swept, obviously. What do you see here? To me, Steve, this is a fascinating weekend series.
I agree with you on that. And I have Anthony Kay going now, lefty, going for the White Sox in today's game. I have
Today.
Sasaki versus Kay on my screen, showing that that's the matchup. Sasaki didn't do a whole lot. He was the big free agent international player that the Dodgers brought on board, paid him a lot of money. He's a young pitcher, really good arm, has struggled adjusting. I think it's more adjusting to playing baseball in the United States as opposed to Japan. Started off the season slow again this year, but he has really turned the corner. His last like 3-4 starts have been outstanding. He's 1-0 in those starts. His whip is down at like 1.8. His ERA's around 1.5. This Sasaki that we've seen in his last 3 to 4 starts is the pitcher the Dodgers thought they were signing. And going for the White Sox, Kay, lefty, he's 5-1 on the season, but don't let that record fool you. His ERA is like 4.5. His whip is sitting up close to 1.5. He's one of those pitchers that's been able to get the wins, has had the support from his team, and has been able to do just enough to win, but he has not really been great at any time this season. White Sox are at home. The White Sox are a really good home team. They're 22-11 against, going up against the Dodgers on the road. So if the White Sox have any chance, it's in this homestand. And I will tell you right now, I will be watching and I will be cheering and rooting for the White Sox through this whole series. I would love to see them sweep the Dodgers. It doesn't mean that they're going to the World Series, but boy, that would really take a huge step towards my one, really start rooting for the White Sox, and two, accepting them that they might actually be really good. I love the style of baseball they play. Will Venable has turned this team around. As we mentioned yesterday, some players that they were able to pick up from the Red Sox in the Garrett Crochet deal with Braden Montgomery, who's now out in right field. You got Maderoff at second base, who's doing a really good job. This White Sox team isn't filled with a bunch of scrubs anymore.
There is also this element of you have a problem with the Dodgers and that you get
Yeah.
giddy when the Dodgers aren't winning for some reason that I still don't quite understand. You're a Red Sox fan. What do you care?
It's just the Dodgers. My history is I don't like local teams, and I really don't root for the powerhouse teams that I feel have that advantage. I think I root for the Dodgers over the Yankees, and then I'm not sure I root for anyone else. And keep in mind, I went to San Diego State, so I spent 4 years down in San Diego, and even though the Dodgers probably view the Padres like a little flea on a dog. Yeah, it's a little pest, but nothing there. To Padre fan, it's the Dodgers, it's the Yankees, Red Sox all over again. So it's a very one-way rivalry in that matchup.
I chuckled when you mentioned, and you're right. The White Sox great record. They're 22-11 at home. Meanwhile, the Dodgers are 22-12 at home and 22-13 on the road. This is what happens when you play the best team in
Yeah.
baseball. You're going to get identical records. So that series starts today, 4:40 West Coast time. You mentioned Tariq Skubal. He's back on the mound Saturday, and that's quick. And they got a name for it now. Of course, Scott Boros, his agent, came up with the name. It's the Skubal Scope, we're calling it now. It's actually called the Nano Needle 2.0. It's a minimally invasive device the size of a toothpick that helps remove a loose body from a pitcher, in this case, an arm, in this case, Tariq Skubal's, that of the two-time Cy Young Award winner's left elbow. He is scheduled to start Saturday, needed just 12 days to get back on the mound for a full bullpen, 32 days from surgery to his one rehab start back on the 7th, and the new technology knocked weeks off of surgery and rehab that normally takes 2 to 3 months. Launched just last September, the Nano Needle Scope 2.0 takes traditional elbow surgery, which requires an actual scalpel, a knife, to cut through the skin and tissue before the surgeon can get inside. The nano needle punctures like a needle, causing far less damage going in. Surgeons still need to get in there and pump the fluid into the joint to inflate it, and so that the camera can see what it's working on, but it needs a fraction of what a traditional scope needs: less fluid, less joint swelling, less pain, ready to throw quicker. He also, Scooble, wore a battery powered patch over the wound site, which sends a small electric charge to the skin to kill the bacteria and speed the healing, which leads us to him being back. We discussed yesterday, and I think, Steve, you already have the Tigers as they're going to be sellers, as opposed to the idea of they got a few weeks till the All-Star break and then a couple weeks after till the trade deadline of, are they throwing Scooble out to see what he can do, see what the Tigers can do, and see if the Tigers want to sell or get in the wild card race? Or are they doing it to showcase him and say, what's your best offer kind of thing? And you seem to land there. I bring all this up because the White Sox, they're in first place by a half game over the Cleveland Howardians, who will host the Detroit Tigers this weekend. Tonight, the Tigers are throwing Flaherty at Bibby. Tomorrow's the big one. We all get to see Scooble. What's he going to do? 4 innings, 3 innings? It'll be pitches against, is it Cantanillo? And then on Sunday, Gavin Williams is throwing for Cleveland. By the way, I can confirm we both have the same sources now, that the White Sox are throwing Anthony Kay today, and they've moved Sean Burke to tomorrow. So back to Detroit, Cleveland. What if Detroit goes in, has a hell of a weekend? Do they, and you used the word delusional yesterday, Steve, do they see, wait a minute, there's a path of some kind?
Yes, let me hit on a few things here. Wouldn't it be cool if they really stuck to Scooble Scope? Like we have Tommy John surgery and
Yeah,
he gets
of
credit
course.
for it. And I really hope they do that. It sounds like it is, a breakthrough for this type of thing and will really help players out. On the Scooble thing on the Tigers, the fear I have, and I just don't see how the Tigers can let him walk away. You can't have it'd be like the Angels allowing Shohei Ohtani to walk away. How did you not get something? We found out a couple of weeks ago that the Rays made a trade that included Junior Caminero to the Angels, and Artie Moreno, the owner, said no. And you're like, Caminero is one of the best slugging players in the game and a third base, which is a tough position to get a quality guy at. And they were willing to throw some more top prospects. Don't know who they were. Uh, but I just don't think the Tigers, hey, if we have Scooble, we could possibly win a World Series this year. Okay. But next year, you already know you're not going to have him. Are we going to compete for the playoffs and or have a shot to win a World Series without Scooble and no return? Or is our chance better because we already know we won't have Scooble? Is our chance better of making the playoffs and possibly winning a World Series if we bring back one marquee prospect or 2 or 3 quality prospects that can help our team next year and a few years after that? I don't see how the Tigers can say we can win a World Series this year, and next year, when we get nothing for him and he leaves, we will still be able to compete for the division. We still could have a shot at winning a World Series. I don't see those things happening. And just like the Angels, I mean, Ohtani left and now they're the doormat of that division, or one of the doormats of the American League. They got nothing for him to even help with the product. So I think they have to move him on.
And with Scooble saying, I'm not talking until free agency, the only, and with us not knowing if there's baseball next year, the only thing the Tigers could even possibly try to do, right, would be to Mahomes him. Say, hey, you're coming off this surgery. Here's the biggest possible contract in the world. And Detroit's not in that position, basically.
Well, there's one more scenario. Jack Flaherty, the pitcher who's going today, he was with the Tigers. They were in playoff contention 2 years ago. They traded him off, and then they made their big run. And what they do in the offseason, they sign him back. I mean, if you feel you can sign him right now.
Right.
Just do it and be done with it. And it's just you have to get something. The fans will go crazy if you don't get anything for them when you know he's not coming back.
And on the possibility of can the White Sox delusionally talk themselves to having a place in the postseason race, they are ninth in the wild card standings, 5.5 back. Keep in mind, right now today, the Yankees and the Hawardians, or whoever doesn't win the East and the Central, they're two of your wild card teams. There's only one spot left, and you got to go over 7 teams, including the Rangers, who are tied or who are at the top right now. The A's are only a game back, and then it's the Blue Jays, the Orioles, the Orioles are ahead of you. The Twins, the Astros, and then you get to the Tigers for the wild.
Yes, but realistically, you have to go over the Blue Jays. You have to go over, if it's the Tigers, you got to go over the Guardians. And in the West, you got to go over what I believe to be the Astros and the Rangers if they could ever start hitting it. And they're doing better. I think they've won 4 of their last series. So they're playing much better baseball. I don't see them being able to leap for, and I'll even throw in the A's if they can ever find some pitching. And Gage jumped tonight. Hopefully, it's a big game. But the A's, the Astros, the Rangers, the Guardians, the Blue Jays for one spot, and it's going to go to the Tigers. I think that's unlikely.
Yeah, and again, do they throw Scooble Saturday? Scooble throws his 90 or 80 pitches that they're going to give him, and he looks lights out, and they win 2 against the Hawardians. Then do they somehow go, yeah,
We're
yeah,
in this thing. 2
mm,
years ago, we were not even 500 at the All-Star break. We still made the playoffs.
You mentioned the American League West last night. Pete Alonso homer to cap a 6-run third inning against Brian Woo, and the Orioles withstood 3 homers by the Mariners. They won 7-5. Mariners are in first place by a game over the only other team in the West with a 500 record, the Rangers. And then the A's are 2 game back. The Astros are 5 games back. Seattle will spend the weekend in Washington against the Nationals. So you thought maybe were the Mariners looking at a window to pull away? They've pulled back a little bit. They've lost a couple in a row, and now they're only a game up. But they've got the Nationals all weekend.
Yeah, the Nationals are a tough team. This is one of the top scoring teams in the league. Just no pitching. Think of the Oakland A's of the East Coast. Great
Mhm.
young talent. I keep talking about James Wood, CJ Abrams. I mean, they have a lot of really good young talent on the team, and they're not going to go away. Mariners had their window. The Rangers are playing much better right now. The Astros are getting healthy. They had their window to extend that lead. They just haven't been able to do it. Uh, and it's that's shame on them. Uh, but you can't count the Nationals out.
Well, in fact, when you say that the Nationals are a tough team, or however you phrased it, they have played 1 less game than the Mariners, and they have the exact same record. If they won that extra game, they'd have the exact same. Even though the Nationals are 10.5 back of the Braves, that's how closely matched these teams are, or how weak the West is, depending on how you want to look at it. Which would bring us to those Rangers, who are a game back, and they will spend the weekend at Fenway Park, which is unfortunate because of Boston's wonderful home record. It's unfortunate for me as an A's fan that the Rangers are in Boston. The Red Sox have the home record of 10-21, worst in the majors, and Texas is throwing lighter today. They're throwing DeGrom tomorrow against Ronher Suarez. Sunday night baseball is Texas at Boston, where they throw Eovaldi at early. That's the NBC game. So they're throwing big arms, Steve, and the Red Sox in there, other than Suarez, who they got today, Sonny Gray, uh, but the rain. See, it's interesting. I get it. I can read and I pay attention. I don't put the Rangers in the same category as the A's. I know you're right, they are. Rangers need hitting, A's need pitching. I just feel like the Rangers are a mess.
And they have been a mess for most of this season, but they're starting to get a little healthy. Corey Seager is back with the lineup. He had just a miserable season to this point. He was hitting under 200. They have good starting pitching. You look at DeGrom, you look at Evaldi. They have two questionables, both live arms in Leiter, who's going today, and Kumar Rocker, who also has a live arm. But both of these guys, when they're on, are really, really good. It's just they don't have those days very often. There's a lot of days they can't find the strike zone. They struggle. And if your pitchers are going to put runners on base and you yourself offensively can't put runners on base, it makes it tough. But they've won their last 4 series. They got the Red Sox. Hey, great. If any team I want to play, Red Sox on the road, Red Sox are 10-21 at home. I think they've hit like 17 homers. I mean, it's not even one homer a home game. It is that bad. The Red Sox are a disaster. On paper, I would say, look, the Red Sox got a good shot. They got Sonny Gray going tonight. He's 7-1 on the season. His ERA is 3.2. 2-0 in his last 3 starts against Leiter, whose ERA is up around 5. He's 3-5 on the season. His whip sits, just under 1.4. Red Sox should get something done. DeGrom going tomorrow against Suarez. Suarez is a pretty good pitcher. They brought him in to move into that number 2 slot at the top of the rotation. The Red Sox thought their starting pitcher was going to be really good. Just they left their signature. And if you ever really looked at the Red Sox, they were an on-base team that had extra base power. Not saying they were one of the elite teams for home runs, but they always doubled you to death. You'd see Devers that had 50 doubles through the course of the season, and they put runners on base. Just like the Giants, the Red Sox do not walk. They don't control the strike zone anymore. They do not walk to put runners on base. They've left that attitude because in the analytics world, the walk doesn't mean anything where it used to be important. Now it's don't worry about a walk. A walk's like an out, just like a strikeout is better than a ground out. Well, I don't understand that unless you're hitting in a double play. But that's where the analytics are. Swing for the fence because you might hit a home run 20 times through the course of the season and you'll still strike out 200 times. You will never convince me how that is better for a team, but that's what analytics tell you. So I'm hoping the Red Sox can figure something out. They need to win a series here. The Rangers, though, are playing better baseball. I think the Red Sox match up really well in the pitching category, which is the strength of the Rangers. To me, the Red Sox should win 2 out of 3 here. Probably I'll get swept.
You mentioned the A's. They're 2 games back of the Mariners. They're back home in West Sac. And if you're an A's fan, I mean, you got the Rockies all weekend. The A's are throwing the 2 names that Steve and I like from their pitching staff. He mentioned Gage Jump is going tonight. Sunday, JT Ginn is going. Tomorrow's Jeffrey Springs. A's hosting. Don't shake your head. I don't know what he's still doing there. A's hosting the Rockies all weekend. They should, Steve. They've won 2 in a row. I know they were in Vegas playing the circus game down there with the balls flying out everywhere, but they won 2 of them against the Brewers. The A's should sweep. They should at least take 2 out of 3 from the Rockies and feel pretty good after this weekend.
This is it, man. A's, you need to step up here. You got a favorable matchup. Colorado's terrible altogether. And then you add in their 12-23. You can't say your bats have gone cold or anything like that. The whole team's hitting. They're hitting with power. They're hitting with authority. They are feeling confident here. The Rockies took 2 out of 3. They did lose the last game yesterday against the Cubs, but they took 2 out of 3. They're due now for a good 3, 5, 7-game losing streak. You have 2 of your good pitchers going, as you mentioned, with Ginn. And this is the time for Gage Jump to step up. He's had 2 really good outings in a row. Let's see, move it to 3 and show you belong to be in this league, because 2 good, 1 bad isn't going to get it done. You need to put a few good ones in a row. He needs to have like 4 of his 5 starts be good. And it's all there for the A's. Put yourself back in contention and tighten that gap with the Mariners.
How bad are the Rockies, you ask? They are the worst team in baseball. They're the only team with an under 400 winning percentage, 2 games behind the San Francisco Giants, who are 13 games under 500. The Giants will be at home all weekend. They are playing the Cubs. This to me is like the reverse thing for the Cubs with the A's. The Cubs, if they're going to be for real, need to go into San Francisco and they need to at least win 2 out of 3, if not sweep them. Because that's who the Giants are this year, and the Cubs are still trying to figure out: are we going to play in this thing? Are we going to be real? Are we just going to win 10, lose 10? When you look at it, the Giants are at home, and they've got tonight. The Giants are throwing Rupp over the weekend. The Chicago tomorrow. Ben Brown versus Trevor McDaniel on Sunday. Colin Ray and Logan Webb for the Giants.
Yeah, Giants. As much as I get on them, their pitching lately has been the problem. William Adames is hitting. Eldridge is on fire. Lee has been hitting over 500 over his last couple of weeks. The Giants are hitting the ball. They just can't get anybody out. They need to find a way. And if I'm a Cubs fan, I'm going crazy. I mean, 10-game win streak, 10-game losing streak, as you said. You go into Colorado, this is it. Let's right the ship. You know, if we can ever get healthy and playing well, this is it in Colorado. We'll get our bats going. And then they drop the first 2 in Colorado. There's something going on with this team. They're not consistent at all. They're that home run or strikeout, it seems, every single game. I think it's a good matchup here. The Cubs should step up, but I keep waiting for the Giants to step up. Logan Webb needs to continue throwing the ball well. He has his last couple of outings. He came back with that first outing, and I think he gave it 1 run in it. He needs to continue to build on that. And they got Roop going. He's one of their good young pitchers, and I agree with it. He should be turning the corner. He's 5-6, so he's been 500, but his last couple outings, he's got shellacked. The guy's ERA is over 7 in his last 3 starts. His whip is up around 2. He needs to get it back under control and become the prospect that the Giants think he is.
So if the Giants are hitting, but they have no pitching, if we keep the Giants and the A's offensive rosters identical, whose pitching staff would you rather have right now today, the Giants or the A's? Because it's the same story with the A's. They're hitting, but their pitching, especially their bullpen, is.
I thought the Giants pitching going into the season was going to be pretty good. I mean, Robbie Ray, but he got lit up again in his last start. Logan Webb has been, since he's hit the bigs, one of the better pitchers in baseball. Landon Roop, who's going tonight, is supposed to be a really good young pitcher. So the Giants have the pitch, and it just hasn't performed. The problem with the A's is I'm not sure they have any pitching. Again, JT Ginn started the season in the minors. So when you're breaking it down at the beginning of the year, JT Ginn's not even a mention. He's had a great season. Is he a long-term, he's going to be a star for you? I would say probably not, because if he was, we would have known it going into the season and throughout his career at this point. Morales, to me, I keep bringing him up, live arm. Is he ever going to harness that ability, though? He's the guy that he could become a 1 or a 2, but not if he can't harness that ability and get balls in the strike zone. Severino had some good years with the Yankees. I've never been a big fan, but I understood it. You needed a veteran pitcher. The A's needed to bring him on board and put him in there. Jeffrey Springs, to me, has always been that journeyman, 5th, 6th starter. You can throw him in the rotation, but you might use him long relief. He's not good enough to be a full-time starter, but he doesn't have this overpowering stuff to be a late relief pitcher. So he's that tweener type of guy. And so you just kind of sit there and, where are we really going to go? I want to see, more than anything, I want to see the Giants play the A's in Las Vegas now that I've seen how that ballpark plays, and not the new ballpark. I want to see it right now this year with these two teams, and let's go see, like, this weekend. and see what they would do. Would the scores be like 23-21? What would we get with 12 or 15 home runs? That would be a fun series to watch.
By the way, the word is that the A's, recognizing the issues with Morales, is that they're viewing him as a potential closer eventually. Is to target his velocity, get his control, and think maybe you're a 1 and 2 inning guy. And he's shown the ability or the stuff to do that. If you jump over to the American League East, the Rays and Yankees, for all intents and purposes, are tied. The Rays have a 3-game winning streak. The Yankees have a 4-game winning streak. Tampa Bay is at Los Angeles all weekend, while the New York Yankees are in I had it right here in Toronto. So they'll be beating up on each other in there. That, Steve, to me, the more this goes on, the more this feels like this could be. I know that we've been saying, hey, the Yankees, they're getting all this help back. Well, then Judge went down, and we're at about 5 or 6 weeks at least until he's gone. And the Rays are a completely different team. This is feeling more and more like this one's going to go. This is real. We're going to be talking about this in September.
The Rays and the Yankees, yeah, the Rays have the starting pitching. I mean, you look at McClanahan, you look at Rasmussen. The Red Sox made them healthy. All right, they're feeling good. They're back on track, getting it going. Yankees without Aaron Judge. I mean, Spencer Jones, one of their top hitting prospects, as we talked about on the show, 6'7", and light tower power. This guy can hit the ball to the moon. He just strikes out too often, but he needs to step up, have a big series. And I'm curious to see where this one goes with the Blue Jays over the weekend. Another series I'm very interested in. Blue Jays are starting to make a move. They believe they're in it. If they can have a nice series here against the Yankees, take 2 out of 3, it's only going to encourage them to what I believe will be buyers at the trade deadline. They're working their way back into it. They just got to get to 500 first. And that wild card spot, I mean, right there, they're 3 games under 500, and they're still in striking distance, easy striking distance to get into the wild card. They got it. It's George Springer hitting around 200. They got to get him going, along with Vladdy, and get some power out of that. They have the players, they have the pitching. They just have to put it all together.
If you just take a quick look at the National League Central to round out Major League Baseball heading into the weekend, the Brewers have a 4-game lead over those pesky Cardinals that, despite all of Steve's predictions, just won't go away. The Brewers are 16 games over 500. The Cardinals are 8 games over 500. Milwaukee will host Philadelphia all weekend. St. Louis will head to Minnesota. And keep in mind, since we keep mentioning it, when it comes to the wild card, the Cardinals are at the top of the National League by 2.5 games for the wild card right now. This team that we didn't expect, Steve, the Cardinals, and that we keep thinking is going to fade, they're the ones maybe need to be big buyers here because they're right there.
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to be. They have some really good young prospects. Their pitching has been really surprised. And are they really going to go out and move some more of their young talent in order to bring in some veteran pitchers to try to stabilize this team? I don't even think they felt that they were going to be in contention. I think it's been a pleasant surprise. They should be very happy with the development of Burleson and Jordan Walker, who were 2 of their top prospects 3-4 years ago, who hadn't fully panned out. Burleson's on a home run tear now. I think he's hit 3 homers in the last 3 games. And they're very good defensively up the middle. It's just, I don't think they have the sustaining power with their pitching. And we'll see where and how that plays out. I'm really excited about the Brewers Phillies matchup. As we said, once Don Mattingly has taken over for the Phillies, they're playing a lot better. And Jacob Mizorowski is going tonight against Andrew Painter. Painter is a top pitching prospect. Again, hard time controlling the strike zone. These are these guys, but they're working them out. Look, we're going to give him the rotation. They keep running him out there. He's 1-7 on the season, a 6.6 ERA. So you wonder how long are they going to be able to keep it up? He's 0-3 in his last 4 ERA almost 8. So I think their patience has to be running a little short. And who knows? They may sit there like the A's with Morales. Look, the guy has unbelievable stuff and he can bring it in velocity. Maybe you do need to look at him as a short reliever, work him more towards the closer. They got to figure him out. But Mizorowski's been unhittable, I think, in his last 7 starts. I think his ERA has to be sitting right around like a half a run given up. His whip can't be a whole lot higher. It's probably like 0.6. He has been as unhittable over the last 6, 7 starts that he's had. And I want to say Mizorowski versus Schwarber. We've seen Mizorowski against like Judge and he overpowered him. Schwarber's the leading home run hitter. He's a home run or miss guy. I really want to see that matchup in tonight's game and what Schwarber can do.
We mentioned the Cardinals are plus 2.5 in terms of they would be a National League wild card right now. Well, there's those Phillies. They're plus 1.5. They're the second team right behind the Cardinals that would be the wild card if everything ended right now.
Rob and Steve continue next, only on the radnetwork.com.
The first time Corey walked into my home, I came around the corner, extended my right hand to shake it, and said to him, "Wow, you're big." And that would be Corey from quickdumpsters.com. Quick is spelled wrong intentionally. Quick, Q-U-I-K dumpsters.com. That's quickdumpsters.com. Corey's yet another maggot launching his own locally owned and operated business, and boy, did I need him, and really we all do. Things pile up, you get frustrated, you keep saying, "We need to make a dump run." Pretty soon it's more than a dump run, and now you need to rent a truck or have one of those ugly upside down box cars parked in front of your house that you fill up yourself. Or you do like I did, you call Corey at quickdumpsters.com. In my case, my house had fallen into complete disarray as my late wife Christina had lost her 2-year battle with congestive heart failure, and amongst the many things left were gathering her things and finding what to donate, what had to just go in that pile of stuff where we were both going, why did we ever buy this? And it all could have been so overwhelming had Corey not just walked in, taken charge, and removed dozens of boxes of total junk, unusable dog kennels, desks that were falling apart, a worthless old smoker that couldn't be fixed, bag after bag of crap, and I can't remember what else. He was quick, spelled wrong, Q-U-I-K, quiet and clean. Well, he wasn't clean. I mean, he was. But I'm not commenting on his hygiene. I meant that his work was clean. He swept everything when he was done, and the house looked like he'd never even been there. Corey's the real deal, and I couldn't be more proud and happy to call him a brand new advertiser. His story's incredible, his dedication unmatched, and his motivation to succeed larger than he is, and that's saying something. Quotes are free. You don't even have to have them over to your house. Just send him some pics or videos, and you'll get your price, schedule your day and time, and watch someone else get that junk out of your house. Go to quickdumpsters.com. Quick, Q-U-I-K, dumpsters.com. Quick, Q-U-I-K, dumpsters.com. Longtime maggots will remember Greg from MAP, M-A-P, as in Maximum Athletic Performance, which guides you to better output through better ingredients, also known as nutrition. Greg has been on the Rad Show many times and will be again, as he simplifies nutrition and helps us all understand what actually works when it comes to fueling our bodies, almost all of which can be found at maptrition.com. Every product is formulated with clinical precision and backed by science and purpose, and maptrition.com has something for every fitness level, even those of us who barely have a fitness level. With nearly 20 years as a nutritionist and a specialization in sports nutrition, Greg works with athletes and everyday individuals to optimize performance, energy, and overall health through smarter fueling strategies, all of which starts at maptrition.com. At the very least, we should all be taking daily multivitamins, and Greg has his formulated for exactly what a man or woman's body needs. Protein is in, but maybe instead of getting yours from mac and cheese with extra protein, you get it from maptrition.com. And of course, all things workout, training, and exercise are available as well. From pre-workout to creatine and other muscle builders to recovery supplements and more, all at maptrition.com. From morning breakfast essentials to post-workout recovery and everything in between, mapnutrition.com's full range of supplements, proteins, and wellness products are built to power your journey from start to finish. Check out all the products and find what's right for you and order it shipped to you all at mapnutrition.com. That's mapnutrition.com.
For them, every day is a must win. Huh? What does that even mean? Back to Rob and Steve. Email the show at res@theradnetwork.com.
People always like the behind the scenes, the how the sausage is made, the fifth rail stuff every now and then. I was sitting here, I don't know, 10 minutes before the show started, about 10:50 a.m. local time. And at that point, Steve and I have already checked. We can see each other, we can hear each other. And depending on where you're sitting, I was in my studio. We got our screen up of what things will look like. And I glance over, I see movement on Steve's side of the screen, and it's not Steve. It's some small child. It's like it was, and she's climbing up in the chair, and she's like putting headphones on. I'm like, I even tried one. I was like, "Hello," but she didn't hear me. What is that? A grandchild that's visiting, Steve? Is that what we're seeing?
That is my granddaughter who lives here in Las Vegas. I was downstairs grabbing my Diet Mountain Dew, and she ran up here. She knew what to do. She jumped up in the chair, threw the headphones on. She was ready to go. As my daughter followed me into the sports book business and loves it, who knows? Maybe my granddaughter will follow me into the uh, this type of business.
Speaking of Vegas, the Vegas Golden Knights, Coach John Tortorella has vowed. I've always liked Torts. I know he's a very polarizing figure. I've really learned to like him during this run with the Knights. He vowed last night the Stanley Cup Final will return to Raleigh for Game 7 after the Hurricanes pushed the Knights to the brink. He said, "We'll be back here. I'm leaving my clothes here. They'll be in the hotel," which got a good laugh and everything. The Golden Knights lost 4-2 last night. They're down 3-2 in the series to the Hurricanes. The winner of a Game 5 in a Cup final, tied at 2-2, has gone on to win the series nearly 75% of the time. That would be Carolina. When a home team wins Game 5, as Carolina did last night, that winning percentage increases to 80%. Teams that go up 3-2 in the Stanley Cup Final have a 37-8 series record and have won 10 straight series. Bad statistical news for the Knights. Sunday night is Game 6 in Las Vegas. There are growing concerns for the Knights. William Karlsson took a hard hit in the second period from Sean Walker. Will he be in? He left the arena for evaluation. He didn't return for the third period. Torts says, quote, "He's not going to be with us probably." Well, most coaches who say that means he's not going to be with you.
Yeah, and William Karlsson's such a big part to the Vegas Golden Knights, not just as a player, but also to the community. He's one of the misfits from the beginning, but he's missed most of the season. I'm not worried about him if he's not able to play. Yes, the Knights are a better team when he's on the ice, but they've learned to play without him. Tortorella, I'm curious on his clothes. Did he leave his suits or did he just leave like his socks and underwear? I could go buy that stuff, but I'm not leaving my $1,000 suits hanging in that room and abandoning it. So I'm curious if the suits stayed as well.
And I would go even further because a guy like Torch, who clearly loves his appearance, I don't think he knows what $1,000 suit feels like. I'm betting those are $3,000 suits minimum. But either way, good question. The bigger question may be, what is going on with Carter Hart? He has just an .856 save percentage and a 3.7 goals against average against Carolina. After he became only the third goalie in NHL history to give up 4+ goals in each of the first 5 games of the final. Torts was asked about that and whether or not he would consider benching Hart, to which Tortorella said, and I quote, "Oh, Christ, that could be the stupidest question I've heard," end quote.
Yeah, this is that. He's the horse I rode in on. I got to stick with him. I'm not selling him off at this point. And I don't blame the Knights. Their defense hasn't been as good as it had been. They're giving up, 2 more power play goals in last night's game. But Carolina, to me, in the last couple of games, has outplayed the Knights. They looked clearly on the ice the last 2 as the better team, where the first 3 to me was a toss up. It was, the luck of the bounce of the puck. and how those games were determined. But Carolina has stepped up. They've attacked the end of the first period last night, 1-1. I felt good. End of the second, I'm like, here we go again. It just the Vegas couldn't put the pressure on. Bussy played great. Since he
Oh,
took over in the third period of game 3, this guy has been outstanding. Another 920 save percentage last night. He is playing lights out. And right now, this is that Vegas team that is a little bit overmatched. I hope coming to the Fortress, on Sunday, they can find a way to win it. I want it to go 7. I'm just, this is why I thought the Hurricanes were the better team going into the series. We've seen it in the last 2 games.
Bussy had a fantastic goal late in the third. The Knights had cleared out the net, and it should have gone in like multiple times, and it would have made it a 1-point game with I want to say 40 seconds left. And what a great save! Sunday night they're in Vegas. We know that place will be nuts. It still, Steve, feels like a 7-game series. It feels like we're going to winner take all in Carolina.
I really think this series deserves to go
Yeah.
7. Just how great, and I'd say 80% of the playoffs have been this exciting. I mean, all the way through it, there have been great games after great games. As a fan, we deserve a 7th game. Just even if Carolina wins it, this feels like a series that needs to go 7, just so we can continue enjoying what has been transpiring over the last month and a half in the playoffs.
That's twice now. NHL playoffs.
NHL playoffs. Sorry, yeah,
Got to clarify.
big difference between the playoffs and the NHL playoffs.
And the thing we don't want to see on Sunday night is the Knights go up to a big lead because they don't seem to be able to hold these things. So we got to play a different version of it to get through all 3 periods. A couple other just lingering stories we've been following more than most, although everybody's gotten on the bandwagon. The Brendan Sorsby story. Texas Tech clearly does not have a very good PR program. They're obviously not really good at crisis management there. They are defending their integrity and have reiterated their support for Brendan Sorsby amid widespread criticism from the rest of the Big 12 conference and other corners of college sports, actually pro sports as well, about the likelihood of Sorsby playing quarterback for the Red Raiders this fall. They released a 20-minute video, which is about 18 minutes too long. Athletic director Kirby Hocutt is in the video alongside football coach Joey McGuire, the university president, their senior associate athletic director for student athlete health and wellness, somebody you never see except they're going to slide in the Sorsby addiction thing in their video. On Monday, Sorsby was granted a temporary injunction by a Texas judge that cleared the way for him to play in 26 despite being ruled ineligible by the NCAA for widespread sports wagering, including 40 bets involving Indiana football while he was a freshman with the Hoosiers. The NCAA has appealed the injunction that will allow him to play. As of right now, Sorsby has to sit out the Red Raiders' first 2 games. So several Big 12 ADs voiced their opposition to playing Texas Tech this season, and the league's presidents met yesterday and will again meet next week to discuss possibly sanctioning the school for allowing Sorsby to play, even with the judge's ruling. And they're not just talking football. They're saying, we're not going to play Texas Tech. Said athletic director Hocutt of Texas Tech. This is a judge not from Lubbock. It was a judge that lives 300 miles from Texas Tech, because a lot of people are saying it's Texas. Well, it is a Texas judge. He goes on to say, people don't agree with that ruling. That's their right. But it was a legitimate legal process that received an injunction, and there's no reason whatsoever to question the integrity of our athletics department or the competitive product that we put on the fields or the courts each and every time we go out. Integrity of the game is sacred, and that's why we've gone to such great lengths to ensure the monitoring and the compliance measures are in place for Brendan's return. They go through Sorsby's addiction, his journey to recovery, why they believe the environment is the best place for him, put him on a team, watch over him. Hocutt, the AD, has met with Sorsby several times, says that he's made these mistakes and he's He just wants to play again. He's done nothing to jeopardize the integrity of the game, and he outlined there are conditions for Sorsby's return to campus and the team, including software being installed on Sorsby's cell phone and other devices that monitors activity, prevents him from accessing online wagering platforms. He'll continue to go through group therapy. And the president of Texas Tech said that mistakes have consequences, but at the same time, this is a young man with a dream and a vision, and blah, 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 blah. Boy, integrity was mentioned a few times in there, Steve, and you've been concerned about that. Uh, Most people, including me, are making fun of Texas Tech's attempt at this. It feels like the old expression, "Thou dost protest too much." I'm trying too hard to explain to you why I'm really a good person, why my integrity matters. But does this work in your opinion?
I don't think it works because I believe in the statement that you had just said. When it appears that I'm trying too hard to try to convince you of something, I probably am trying too hard to try to convince you of something. If I'm innocent, it will play itself out. And am finding this whole situation more and more interesting. The part that you did not read about, which I thought added to this, Paxton, the attorney general for
Yes,
Texas,
Ken Paxton, he's
he
running for
he
governor
he
or Senate. Sorry.
filed a lawsuit or whatever against the Big 12, stating that not only is this going to hurt Sorsby, it's going to hurt Texas Tech, and if you enforce that policy, whatever 3.61, I don't know what the numbers are. I'm just throwing something out there. With this whole thing, then that will cause irreparable harm, and he is threatening them with a lawsuit that the Big 12 will have to, and he says it will be above, like more than a $200 million liability lawsuit. So if you're going to do it, just know we are suing you. We've already let you know this, and it's going to be in the hundreds of millions of dollars we're going after to repair not just Sorsby, not just the football program, all of our sports here at Texas Tech, not just for this year, but future years of revenue that they're losing, recruited players that they are going to lose, the donations to the university that it will cause them to lose, uh, all kinds of things. So I was like, wow, Texas AG is even stepping up. I wonder if he went to Texas Tech.
Well, here's the difference. That I don't know. And here's the difference. We were talking the other day that the Big 12, it seems like they're literally basically doing this for reasons of integrity. That they actually believe this is horrible for the game. That they're like, well, if no one else is going to do it, we'll do it. I heard pushback yesterday saying no, not, and the argument was related to football. They don't want to play Texas Tech because it'll affect their ability, any of these teams' ability to win the national title. They're glad to get Texas. I didn't buy that argument for a minute. That was the pushback on that. We can circle back to that while I give you the background on Ken Paxton. He's been the attorney general for Texas for 2 terms now. He just beat a guy named John Cornyn, who's been the senator from Texas forever, to run for the Senate seat, the other Senate seat that's not Ted Cruz in Texas. Uh, Anyone would describe Paxton as pretty far right, pretty extreme, and the difference between what the Big 12 seems to be doing, unless you buy the Texas Tech argument that we don't want to play and we're scared, and what Paxton's doing is it's all political. It's all, look at me, I'm Texas, I'm all about Texas, I'm protecting Texas, 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 and so as to get votes. Where that goes, where all this stuff in the courts goes, I don't know. But with that as the background, this still is that nauseating thing we don't want, Steve. The courts are involved, etc. Do you buy the argument that the reason the Big 12 doesn't want to play Texas Tech is they might screw up the Big 12's chances at a national title?
No, I don't buy it at all. And if I ever found out that was true, that would be a devastating blow to me as a sports fan, because that would confirm in my eyes that this is really all about money. I still believe that sports, it's about the integrity, doing what's right for the game, and that the correct side for all involved still exists in sports. I know there are the parts of it's all about money and money dictates. I like to believe that college sports is still pretty close to being somewhat pure. And the commissioners are just doing this because this is what they believe in. The institutes, this is what we believe in. This isn't a case of a, and not good, domestic violence.
Mm.
This is like the sacred rule of you don't gamble on your own sport, and you really don't gamble on your own team. And that was broken. If he's allowed to play, why do we have any rules at all? There shouldn't. This is the golden rule, in my opinion, and it was broken, and they still found ways to let him play. And if nobody takes this stand, like the Big 12 is, the teams are, the ADs are, the commissioner is, if they don't take that stand of what's right, what's, in my opinion, what's morally right, then why do we have any of this? Just let them do whatever they want. And as long as it's making people money, and it doesn't matter.
The people that I saw, the two sports journalists that I saw who made the case that the Big 12 just doesn't want to play Texas Tech and they're taking advantage of it. They're old school, they're blowhards. They were not in any way suggesting they had any proof that that's what's going on. And they also share an attitude that I'm seeing in other people who want to defend Sorsby. It's a small group, very small group, but there is this attitude of older people. I mean, if you can believe it or not, Steve, people older than us. I know there aren't many, but their position is very much that he's just a kid. He made a mistake. Let it go. It's kind of that as you get really old, you start to reflect on, hey, I did a lot of stupid things, and then you project it down. But you kind of lose sight of how serious the mistake is, which is what the NCAA said. They said, yeah, he screwed up and he's done all the right things, but there still has to be a punishment. It can't just be you screwed up and now there's no punishment. And that seems to be the much more prevailing opinion that I'm getting from most people on this one.
And see, I fall into the belief of, for all of our actions, there are consequences. Well, you got to have the consequences. Otherwise, it's a free for all. Your age, yeah, okay. I don't want to convict a 5-year-old for murder or something like that. Oh, okay. But man, I have a hard time for anybody like 14 and up. By 14, you got a good understanding what's right and wrong. And if you do this, it can't be, cool, he's 14. I can do whatever I want. And we all had friends there that knew, look, I'm a minor. I'm under 18. I can do whatever I want. If I get caught, no big deal, but I'm going to have the fun and I'm going to exploit it. And I fall into the camp of all your actions have consequences. There's that yin and the yang. And you can't just dismiss it because, oh, they were young or something like that. I think if you're going to do the crime, you got to do the time.
There's obviously there's a distinction between the legal consequences and then the life consequences. Legal consequences, we got to go by various ages, things like that. We can comment on them all day long, etc. I'll get back to that. You're talking more about the lifestyle consequences. And I've always said, out of fun, half fun, illustrate the absurd by being absurd. You're a grown man at the age of 8. Now that came from my dad, because my dad, basically when I turned 8, he started really giving me a lot of autonomy, and it doesn't apply to all people, but you do. Steve, you mentioned 14. At the age of 12, at the age of 16, you have a better understanding of what's right and wrong, what you should or shouldn't be doing. And yeah, we're going to screw up and we're going to make mistakes and we're going to get caught. There's going to be a difference, though, between I'm 16 and I took dad's truck out without him knowing, and I'm 16 and I took dad's truck out, and I got drunk and hit somebody and got arrested and destroyed property and hurt somebody. Same violation with multiply different outcomes. But what really drives me nuts is calling people over 18, calling a college person a kid. Relative to you and me, Steve, he is. He hasn't seen life. He hasn't experienced. That doesn't make it an excuse. It doesn't make it okay. He knows what he was doing. He apparently, he's acknowledged at a very young age, which is great. He has a problem. He has an addiction. But he still screwed up, and he knew what he was doing, and he knew it was wrong, and that's why we didn't find out about it until the NCAA investigated him. There has to be a punishment.
There has to be. And in your scenario, look, I knew when I was under 16, I could steal my dad's car. We all know it. But I also knew if I got caught, I was not getting my license until I'm 18. That was a given. You will not get your license till you get anything else that happens. As you said, I go and I get drunk and I cause an accident. Look, I'm not even getting into those consequences. I'm just saying I knew as a kid, you know what it is. You choose to do it, but you know the punishment. And if you get caught, you got to live with the punishment. I believe that look, this is it. It's as a parent. I got 3 kids. You know, they did things, and believe me, I was no angel, not even close. Anybody who knew me, that was not the case. But as a parent, you know, the parents that say, "Hey, look, if you do this, this is what you're going to get," and then don't do it. Well, the kid's never going to respect you and do what you say because you don't follow through with the actions. You may be laughing inside, and believe me, there was a lot of times my kids did things that my wife are laughing about, but you can't do that as a parent. It's that, nope, this is what you did. This is what you're going to get. And you had to do it. We'd close the door after we put them in their room or whatever the punishment was, and we'd be laughing. I can't believe they did that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I did that when I was a kid, whatever it was. But you have to follow through or you got no respect and they'll do whatever they want.
And Sorsby knew going in as an NCAA player, you gamble it all, you're out. One other note, Phil Mickelson, no relation to Steve, spelled differently even, has been kicked out of a San Diego golf club over allegations he made unwanted physical contact with a female employee. He is no longer welcome at the Farms Golf Club in Rancho Santa Fe, where the 6-time major champion has played and practiced for decades. The unwanted contact was said to have happened earlier this spring. Now, Mickelson has been not seen at all for months, and it's always been because of a serious family health matter that has not been disclosed. It's a good catch-all. We know that his wife has had some challenges with breast cancer, things like that. He's got, I don't know what the status is of his parents. Does he have something wrong with him, et cetera? It's a great catch-all that makes everybody go, all right, well, you're not that relevant anymore. A lot of people don't like you because of the live thing. You're Phil Mickelson. You're a legend. We're just going to let you go. And then this weird thing just out of nowhere pops up to the point where Golf Digest said it's verified the identity of the Farms employee. She's withholding her name to protect her privacy, although Golf Digest got a hold of it. It said that she declined to participate in the reporting of the story. However, Mickelson, according to sources, approached the woman in the clubhouse, made non-consensual and inappropriate physical contact with her. The woman rejected his advances, went to the supervisors. Officials investigated. They confronted Mickelson on the course and told him to get out, leave the premises. Golf Digest cited multiple sources in confirming that the member was Phil. I don't know what you're supposed to read into it, if anything. On the heels of all this other weirdness, it's an icky story, and it makes you wonder what else was going on with Phil. But as I said, I don't know how relevant he is anymore. It's just another sad kind of this thing where we keep pointing at these guys who are getting later in life, longer in their career, and could we go out with a little bit of class and a little less controversy? And no comment from Mickelson on this, to be fair.
Yeah, no, it was a sad thing. I find it hard to believe, and I don't know the facts other than what you just read, that this is a first time. One, I think when you get caught for stealing, it's not the first time. Nobody has that bad of luck. Oh, it's the first time I've ever done this, embezzled $1 million. Well, I'm sure you embezzled something before you got to that $1 million, and you just happen to get caught. And being that he didn't finish his round of golf, this wasn't one of those, look, when he finishes, you get in the clubhouse, hey, Phil, can you come talk to us? You know, this is the accusations, but to go out on the golf course, address it, done and gone, you have to believe there's something else in that file that made them take immediate action without letting him finish his round of golf.
Yeah, and the perp walk of Phil Mickelson. Leave our course now. I mean, that is a big deal. We'll return to sports on the court, on the field after this.
Rob and Steve continue next, only on the radnetwork.com.
If you've never heard of microseal, let me tell you what it isn't. It is not a really small marine mammal. Get it? A micro seal? Oh, fine. Just ask AI. AI describes microseal this way with a bunch of AI words. Microseal is a premium, eco-friendly, and biodegradable fabric protection spray that penetrates deep into fibers to provide permanent stain, soil, and sun fade resistance for rugs, furniture, and delicate fabrics. It uses nanotechno blah 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 and blue 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 blue. What AI is trying to say is that microseal is non-toxic, non-allergenic, safe for pets and children, and although AI doesn't say this, it should, you need to contact a longtime maggot Joel from AdvantageSteam.com right now to get him to apply microseal for you. You can even make appointments online at AdvantageSteam.com. We've had microseal for years at Williams Manor, and it treats a lot more than carpets. Microseal protects virtually all fibrous materials, including wool, cotton, silk, suede, leather, and synthetic fabrics. It protects upholstery, carpets, rugs, draperies, and clothing, including wedding dresses. And ladies, you're going to need what? 3 or 4 of those in your lifetime. And it protects against stains, moisture, and UV degradation without changing the texture. Also, if you're an interior designer, Joel has a special program just for you, and all you have to do is say the password, which is what? What? There's no password, I guess. Never mind. Whoever you are, contact Joel at AdvantageSteam.com. And if you're an interior designer, tell him, I guess. I don't know. That's AdvantageSteam.com, where you'll learn more about microseal and everything else that Joel offers. At AdvantageSteam.com, that's AdvantageSteam.com, AdvantageSteam.com. Longtime advertiser Sue Berry, that's Berry with an A, is more important now than ever. Sue and her team have been serving Northern Nevada and the outlying areas for 30 years, and her experience in both commercial and residential lending is vital, as every day we're bombarded with news of interest rates, the market, the economy, and a bunch of other stuff that Sue can actually make sense of while everyone else's eyes glaze over. Now remember, it's Sue Berry with an A, B-A-R-R-Y, SueBerry.com. Most people think berry is spelled like a fruit or Halle Berry, but no, it's Sue Berry with an A, like soul singer Barry White's first name.
I've heard people say,
Stop that. Sue is a broker versus a retail lender, which means she can shop over 150 different lenders to get you the very best rate possible. And on average, someone who uses a broker like Sue saves over $10,000 per loan, which includes refinancing. And if you have a rate at 6.5% or higher, call Sue for a free quote now on a refinance. Sue Berry and her incredible team from Barrett Financial can be found at SueBerry.com. That's Berry with an A. I've been working with Sue and recommending her to you for years. All you need to do is call her now so she can get you pre-approved. Just call your residential and commercial lending expert, Sue Berry, at 775-843-9983. Oh, Rob, stop. You're going too fast. What was the number again? 775-843-9983. Or just head to SueBerry.com. The number's right there. Berry is B-A-R-R-Y. Sue Berry with an A.com. That's Sue Berry, B-A-R-R-Y.com, SueBerry.com.
Disclaimer, Sue Berry, NMLS number 366040, Barrett Financial Group, LLC, NMLS number 181106, Nevada 5091, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Steve has been running sports books for decades, and Rob spent decades running radio so far into the ground he just created his own network. This is the Rob and Steve Sports Show on the Rad Network.
As mentioned at the outset, no hockey, no basketball tonight. You got to wait till tomorrow for either of those, when the Spurs will host the Knicks, and it's Spurs against the wall time. Knicks are up 3-1. Reports from ESPN, the feeling around the Knicks after their Game 4 comeback is relief. They've shown a remarkable ability the past 2 seasons, postseasons, to come back from circumstances. And they know that a lot went their way when they erased that 29-point hole. Mike Brown, the head coach of the Knicks, says you got to have a little luck in sports, but you can also make your luck. Meanwhile, reporters on the other side say the Spurs are frustrated. They're saying all the right things, like, I don't want to be with anyone else. We believe we can get it done. Many expected, we talked about it, the young Spurs would stumble in critical moments because of their inexperience. Perhaps game 4 was that moment. This isn't the first time, though, they faced elimination. Said coach Mitch Johnson, who I'm a little meh on these days, quote, we have 2 days to put everything we have into game 5. That's the only game that matters. And quote, the Knicks did not play the smartest game in the first half of game 4. They almost always stay engaged mentally and emotionally, though, and they know if they remain in striking distance of the series, the result bears in their favor. Whereas the Spurs have suffered multiple correctable mistakes from game 4. And a lot of people like you, Steve, are saying, De'Aaron Fox, De'Aaron Fox, De'Aaron Fox, what are you doing? And if you're not going to do what you are doing, or if you are going to do what you're doing, get out. And if you're not going to, can we actually play you? And they're all correctable issues. Does that all sound about right for you, Steve?
Yes, it does. And the Knicks, again, they've found ways to stay in it, rebound. Jalen Brunson has been so clutch in his career with the Knicks. He's been unbelievable. But the Spurs have to entirely let the wheels off the train or a car, whatever you want to say. They helped so much. This wasn't the Knicks figure something out. This was the Spurs imploded. How do you not like just take some time? Even if you go into the stall game, just find better shots. Don't keep putting up threes. Take it to the rim. Draw fouls. They're going to be aggressive on you because they're trying to get back. There's things you can do, and this goes to Johnson, the head coach. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He just allowed this nightmare to continue, and he did nothing to slow it down, nothing to get his players back on track. And I don't know. I'm kind of done with the Spurs at the moment.
I do like, oh, come on, buddy. Stay with me. Give me one more game. I really like Stephon Castle's self awareness. He said that the Spurs have, quote, pretty much dictated the winner and loser of all these games.
Mhm.
He's right.
Yeah.
He's right. The Spurs have either given them up or they've won them. 2 fill in the blank questions for you, and I'll tell you what ESPN said. Most important, come on, this is a gimme. Most important player in game 5 is?
We talking you're
Most
talking the
important,
whole game.
most important player in game 5.
Wemby.
Yeah. Right? I know what you're doing. You're gnashing, you're noshing, you're thinking, well, what about De'Aaron? Brunson. It's Wemby. Because it's been Wemby the whole time. The way ESPN said, Wembanyama, game 4 is a gut punch, but each of these games has come down to the final possession. Wembanyama must summon his best so the Spurs can dig themselves out of this hole. This was mentioned before game 4. Is Wemby down for his Jordan moment? Or is it still too early? Does he need another season? Those kind of things. The Knicks will win game 5. How? How do the Knicks win tomorrow night, Steve? We know what the Spurs have to do. They control everything. What do the Knicks have to do? Is there a specific?
Full team effort, move the ball around, get contributions from everyone, attack the rim, and Cat's got to play a really good defensive game against Wemby.
If the Knicks win tomorrow night, and it's similar to what's been going on, who's your MVP?
I think you got to go Brunson. I'm not really saying it should be Brunson. OG Anunoby's got to get some votes. He's been really good in this series, but I think you go Brunson.
ESPN said it's Anunoby. Whether that means they're going to give it to him or not, that's who they said. All right, just some fun there as we get ready for tomorrow night, Game 5, NBA. And so people are talking about, where does the Knicks win Game 4 rank among the greatest comebacks of all time in all sports, Steve? Do you have take that out of it. Do you have in your mind greatest comeback of all time in sports? Because I had 2, and neither one of them were ranked at the number 1 position when I saw it yesterday. But I don't argue with number 1 either. So what do you got?
Man, that's a tough one for me to even come up with.
Really? I thought you'd have one.
I think, but this wasn't a single game. I think the Red Sox down 3-0 to the Yankees, to me, was the greatest comeback ever. And it's not just that they came back, but against the Yankees, the curse of the Bambino, the storied history of the Yankees, the Bucky Dents, the constantly crushing the Red Sox hopes and dreams year in and year out, and to do it against the Yankees. The Red Sox do that against the Tigers and go on to win the World Series. There's still that Yankee. They still own us. They still dominate us. They still, have that. But
Right.
being against the Yankees, I mean, everything for 88 years, whatever it was, suddenly it's like, oh, cool. It erased all of it because it was the Yankees.
And that's why overwhelmingly, by the way, that's what everybody said. All of
Yeah.
those reasons. Not just
Yeah.
the only Major League Baseball team to do it, but they did it against the Yankees and they erased the curse, etc. Other things that were mentioned that not as high as the Knicks, the 95 Indiana Pacers when they were trailing by 6 points in game one, Reggie Miller rattles off 8 points. The reason they say, even though it was a game one, they secured that win at Madison Square Garden. It took Indiana all 7 games to do away with the Knicks in 95. So they put that 10th. You know this one, the Michigan State Spartans. I know not your team, but you're a Michigan guy. Trailing 38-3 with less than 10 minutes to play in the third quarter. The Spartans looked dead in the water, facing Northwestern. Ultimately scored 24 points in the fourth quarter. Scored 38 unanswered points to cap off the biggest comeback in NCAA Division I football history. That's a pretty good comeback.
Yeah, but it's Michigan State. I
Oh,
just, the ones I put up there was Frank Reich leading the Bills, with that Bills and the Titans or
Oilers.
whatever.
Yeah, the
Oilers. Yeah,
time,
yeah. I mean, that was just an unbelievable comeback. And I think I've told this story at halftime in my office because I got a bunch of TVs. They were showing old USFL highlights. And I watched that. I didn't watch the comeback because I'm watching old Oh man, that's right. He played in the USFL. And then next thing I look up, they've like taken the lead. I'm like, oh crap, I just missed this. I was busy watching the other things, but I think I'd have to put that playoff game up there. I can't tell you how big of a comeback, but for me, and a steal by Bird. Over to Dennis Johnson, and that the Pistons gave that one away. That was an unbelievable finish to a big game, which would have started the Pistons run a little bit earlier, I think, than the 89-90 season.
The Bills in 93, that in the first round of the playoffs, that was the first one I thought of. They were trailing 28-3 at halftime. Then they went down by 32. And then they rattled off the 28 points for the most in NFL history in the third quarter. And then they later won the game in overtime. They ranked it, ESPN ranked that as 6th.
Oh, wow.
Just barely ahead of the Knicks. And the Knicks were behind the 2001 Blue Devils, who in the fourth meeting of the year between Duke and Maryland, by the end of the first half, trailed by 11. 7 minutes to go. Duke took their first lead of the contest, closed the game out on a 23-12 run to dispatch Maryland, and they ended up defeating Arizona in the title game and securing Coach K's third national title. They put that just ahead, or behind the Knicks. So that was the 8th best comeback. The Knicks 2026 game 4 was 7th. Then they got to that Bills game, coming back from being down 35-3. This one is lame. Shouldn't even be up there. Paul Lawrie, the 99 British Open. Yeah, he was down by 10 points when it started. This is a Jean Van der Velde story. He wasn't watching the old question of, did Lawrie win it or did John Van der Velde lose it? Jean Van der Velde lost it, didn't know the score, winds up taking his socks off, feet in the water. Ultimately, Lawrie beats Justin Leonard in a playoff. I don't put that up there. That's a different story to me personally. 4th best comeback, the Flyers. Not only in 2010 did they need to claw back and win 3 consecutive games to force a Game 7, but in that winner-take-all contest, the Bruins got out to a 3-0 lead against the Flyers, who ultimately won 4 straight games, scored 4 straight goals, and became the 3rd team in NHL history to come back from a 3-0 series deficit. Can't argue with that one, being in the top 5.
No.
The other one I thought of after the Bills one was the 2017 Patriots being down 28-3.
Oh, yeah. No, that I'm probably that could be 2. That was
Right?
in the Super Bowl. And
So,
I try to black the Patriots Super Bowl wins out, so that didn't hit my mind, but that probably should be too.
yeah, that one I would put second with the Red Sox first.
Mhm.
Instead, ESPN put it third, the Red Sox first, and the second greatest comeback of all time was the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers, who remain the only team in NBA history to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the finals, facing the best regular season game of all time, the regular season team of all time, rather, the 73-9 Golden State Warriors with unanimous MVP Steph Curry, who were trying to become back-to-back champions, and LeBron with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were able to lead the Cavs to 3 straight wins and take the series.
Garbage. Draymond Green was out game 5. I'd throw that one out. I don't even consider that one. That was a ripoff.
I just like garbage. That's all.
Rob and Steve continue next, only on the radnetwork.com.
Longtime maggots will remember Greg from MAP, M-A-P, as in Maximum Athletic Performance, which guides you to better output through better ingredients, also known as nutrition. Greg has been on the Rad Show many times and will be again, as he simplifies nutrition and helps us all understand what actually works when it comes to fueling our bodies, almost all of which can be found at maptrition.com. Every product is formulated with clinical precision and backed by science and purpose, and maptrition.com has something for every fitness level, even those of us who barely have a fitness level. With nearly 20 years as a nutritionist and a specialization in sports nutrition, Greg works with athletes and everyday individuals to optimize performance, energy, and overall health through smarter fueling strategies, all of which starts at maptrition.com. At the very least, we should all be taking daily multivitamins, and Greg has his formulated for exactly what a man or woman's body needs. Protein is in, but maybe instead of getting yours from mac and cheese with extra protein, you get it from maptrition.com. And of course, all things workout, training, and exercise are available as well. From pre-workout to creatine and other muscle builders to recovery supplements and more, all at maptrition.com. From morning breakfast essentials to post-workout recovery and everything in between, maptrition.com's full range of supplements, proteins, and wellness products are built to power your journey from start to finish. Check out all the products and find what's right for you and order it shipped to you all at maptrition.com. That's maptrition.com. If you've never heard of microseal, let me tell you what it isn't. It is not a really small marine mammal. Get it? A micro seal? Oh, fine. Just ask AI. AI describes microseal this way with a bunch of AI words. Microseal is a premium, eco-friendly, and biodegradable fabric protection spray that penetrates deep into fibers to provide permanent stain, soil, and sun fade resistance for rugs, furniture, and delicate fabrics. It uses nanotechno blah 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 and blue 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 blue. What AI is trying to say is that microseal is non-toxic, non-allergenic, safe for pets and children, and although AI doesn't say this, it should, you need to contact a longtime maggot Joel from AdvantageSteam.com right now to get him to apply microseal for you. You can even make appointments online at AdvantageSteam.com. We've had microseal for years at Williams Manor, and it treats a lot more than carpets. Microseal protects virtually all fibrous materials, including wool, cotton, silk, suede, leather, and synthetic fabrics. It protects upholstery, carpets, rugs, draperies, and clothing, including wedding dresses. And ladies, you're going to need what? 3 or 4 of those in your lifetime. And it protects against stains, moisture, and UV degradation without changing the texture. Also, if you're an interior designer, Joel has a special program just for you, and all you have to do is say the password, which is what? What? There's no password, I guess. Never mind. Whoever you are, contact Joel at AdvantageSteam.com. And if you're an interior designer, tell him, I guess. I don't know. That's AdvantageSteam.com, where you'll learn more about microseal and everything else that Joel offers. At AdvantageSteam.com, that's AdvantageSteam.com, AdvantageSteam.com.
The Rob and Steve Show on the Rad Network. Let's get back to it. Email Rob and Steve, RAS@theradnetwork.com.
Couple of NFL notes. First one may help answer the question, why in the world has no one signed wide receiver Stephon Diggs, probably the best free agent still available. He signed a 3-year, $69 million contract with the Patriots last year, key target for Drake May. And then, and before joining the Patriots, he was drafted by the Vikings in 15, played for the Bills before a brief stint with the Texans in 24. And there he sits. And the NFL today closed its review after determining there was insufficient evidence of a personal conduct policy violation. The Patriots wideout was found not guilty in May of assaulting his private chef in a pay dispute. The NFL's ruling marks another step towards the free agent wide receiver landing with the team, maybe. So he was cleared already legally. The NFL has to do their thing. It's hard for me to believe that NFL teams were waiting for this to sign him, but maybe this is the next step.
I think it is the next step. I think the NFL teams were being cautious. If he's going to miss some games or something to that extent, do you really want to go out and give him a pretty decent sized contract? I would like to believe he's going to be signed here in a couple of weeks. The Niners, I'd love to see that happen.
Yes.
Really, I wouldn't mind him going to the Lions. Lions could pick up another wide receiver. I think there's a lot of landing spots out there for him, and it'll be good to see him back in the league because I still think he can contribute to these teams.
We were told earlier in the week that there is no quarterback competition in Atlanta because Michael Penix Jr. is not fully healthy. Duh. Then we were told, I believe yesterday, that in Cleveland there is very much a quarterback competition. Todd Monken is not prepared to name a starter because Deshaun Watson and All-Pro Shedeur Sanders have both risen to the level. It's too close to call. I don't know. Which takes us to Minnesota. Kyler Murray said this week that splitting quarterback reps with J.J. McCarthy has made it tougher to learn the Vikings offense, but he will continue to be in that situation for a little longer because the Vikings are turning their attention towards training camp, and head coach Kevin O'Connell said yesterday that the team will not be naming a starter before they get there. O'Connell said that Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy, quote, had really good days, end quote, at this week's mini camp, and that there are still plenty of opportunities to learn as the team moves closer to the season. O'Connell did not say when he anticipates making a decision. Isn't this kind of like the Browns? That we know that Deshaun Watson's going to be the starter because the owner wants him to be, and Monken says all the right things to keep All-Pro Shedeur and his dad happy. Which, by the way, we were talking yesterday about an NFL coach who might really, really be on the hot seat. I wonder where O'Connell might be because he's supposed to be this genius, and the Vikings have. I can't believe for a minute they're not going to name Kyler Murray, but he says right now, there's still a chance.
But I can't hold O'Connell responsible. My understanding is he wanted to keep Sam Darnold. It was the GM that didn't want to keep him. They just went 14-3. We're in it on week 8, and then Darnold fell apart the last week of the season against the Lions in the first game in the playoffs. Couple of things with there. One, Cleveland Browns, as you're reading that, with the All-Pro Shedeur Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
I just went, wow. The Browns might have the best quarterback room in the league because they have 2 All-Pros in their quarterback room. That's really good.
It is. That's very impressive.
It is. They have 2 All-Pros competing for that job, and neither one's any good.
Yeah, and yet how many? It's less than 5. How many NFL teams would trade quarterback rooms with the Browns? Maybe it's less than 3.
You're Jets,
2?
Cardinals, and I don't know if I'm getting to a third.
Right? Exactly.
Right.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes, we talked about it yesterday. He's cashed in big, becoming the first player in league history to earn a contract worth $500 million with his 2-year extension, coupled with the 6 seasons remaining on the 10-year extension. Mahomes' latest extension, is sure to have a ripple effect on the NFL's quarterback market, as we talked yesterday. His raise will result in raises for several other top-end quarterbacks. The thing we were discussing yesterday was, if you're Josh Allen, if you're Lamar Alexander, and you go in and you ask for more than, if you're going to go on average annual value 63 million, if you're going to go on total guarantees $500 million, how is the response by the other side? You're no Patrick Mahomes. He's won us. He's won us Super Bowl. You can't get us to Super Bowl. I'm trying to figure out, as I said yesterday, is this where NFL teams draw a little bit of a line and say, this ain't Deshaun Watson? It's Mahomes. Stop asking for Mahomes money. You, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, should be talking Prescott money, which ain't that much less. But to break the bank, I don't get it. Did you want to comment there?
Well, I was going to say, this is why I've been saying for years that the NFL needs to put in a salary cap on the quarterbacks. And if I'm the GM, I'm going to Josh Allen or whoever. Yeah, you're not Patrick Mahomes. If you want to get there, you need to leave a little bit on the table for us and not take it all into your salary so we can put some players behind you. Because if you want to win a Super Bowl, you need talent besides you. So give us a little bit, be satisfied with Dak Prescott money.
Which, by the way, is what the Chiefs and Mahomes are doing. Everybody knows. If you break down, and I looked at it, and I'm like, this is boring to just read. If you break down the year by year and what he's going to be paid, and everybody knows this contract will be reworked again.
Mhm.
This is a matter of doing exactly what Steve was just saying. Mahomes says, rework my contract, give me more money. I don't care when, I don't care how. I've got generational wealth. And the Chiefs go, fine, sure. By the way, we're probably going to be paying you like Bobby Bonilla into the 2050 eventually before we're all done. Who cares? But there are two primary ways to assess the highest paid player in the NFL at any given time. There's what we call the AAV, the average annual value. And then there's the one I care about, which is total contract value, guaranteed contract value, because that's all that matters in the NFL. But if you go by AAV, this year, finally, Mahomes will be number one at $63.1 million, followed by Prescott, Allen, Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, and Matthew Stafford, all tied at $55 million. So it's Mahomes at 63, Prescott at 60, and then everybody else at 55 for average annual value. Goff at 53 million. Brock Purdy also at 53 million. That rounds out the top 10 before you get to Herbert, Lamar, or Jalen Hurts, Will Anderson for the edge as an edge. He's the highest non-quarterback player, AAV. Micah Parsons second, also an edge, and then Deshaun Watson 15th. So AAV for players. Going into this season, Mahomes is where he belongs. Number one, 63 million.
My question to you, and then I'm going to need you to read that list again. The ones that were just off. Will Mahomes be the number one on day one, the opening day of the NFL season, or will somebody sign for something more because it's been reestablished again?
I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Allen signed for more before. I don't know where he's at. Feels like he just kind of signed.
But you just read that list. Was Josh Allen on that list?
He's third.
Okay.
Third.
Is
you
Lamar
wanted off this? Yeah. Well, Lamar Jackson's 11th. He's down at 52 million. Way down at only 52 million a year.
Where does Herbert go?
Herbert's 10th. He's at 52.5 million.
Wouldn't surprise me if Herbert goes in and renegotiates a contract, or Lamar Jackson goes in and renegotiates, or even Josh Allen. Those wouldn't surprise me if you saw any of them go and do. And what about Caleb Williams? What if he just says, look, man, I need my money right now. You need to go and sign me.
And then you've got the highest players in terms of total contract value. That one's not even close. And that one also lends itself more towards Josh Allen. Mahomes is at $504 million for his total contract value. Next on the list is Josh Allen at $330 million. Big gap. Then you go way down to Burrow and Trevor Lawrence, who are tied at $275 million for total contract value. I mean, Mahomes has broken the bank. He has, as they said, reset everything. I just find it hard to to rationalize, even though I know it's going to happen, how all these players who have not done what Patrick Mahomes has done. He's the most accomplished guy in football on the field, unless I'm forgetting somebody. How you go in and say I deserve more than that guy? I don't know. I know they will, and I know they'll get it. I just don't know.
I'm young, upcoming, and I have more future out there to get there. Mahomes is 29 years old, and he's going to start tailing off. So that's why I deserve to reset it at even higher, because I have more quality years left in my arm.
I think that argument works for me intellectually if Caleb Williams or CJ Stroud go out and have phenomenal years, off the chart years, and then they can make that argument. And I think it's valid at that point, because it's like, look, I am who you thought I was, and I'm going to be worth a lot more. I don't know that. I don't know about Josh Allen. I really don't. I mean, obviously, if he wins the Super Bowl, if he doesn't renegotiate before then, he's going to break everything.
I don't think CJ Stroud can make that argument at this. He's had a couple of
amazing season.
Even if he has an amazing, because his year 2 and year 3 were not, well, year 2 and the first half of year 3 really wasn't that good. I think Caleb Williams can go out and say that. If he goes out and just lights it up, he wins the MVP, the Bears go off to the Super Bowl. He's now 2 years in Ben Johnson's system. I think Caleb Williams has that ability to go negotiate that kind of contract coming off an MVP season, a Super Bowl appearance, even if they don't win it. I think he would have that ability, because his only flaw was his rookie year, and you can blame that on a bad coach.
They're all going to make the argument. It's just who should be and
Right.
who might win it. Have a great weekend. Will we be talking about the Knicks as champions on Monday, or the Hurricanes as champions on Monday, or will we have more to come? We'll find out then.
This has been a presentation of the Rob and Steve Sports Show, brought to you by the Rad Network, and is copyrighted by the radnetwork.com and Williams Broadcasting for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, accounts, or descriptions of whatever Rob and Steve just talked about without the express permission of the Rad Network, Williams Broadcasting, and Rob's really mean lawyers is prohibited. So don't do it.